Well, in particular related to nuclear, I'm very pleased that the latest Australian government paper looking at technologies for low emissions energy in the future has finally mentioned small modular reactors as one of those technologies they want to evaluate. Now, it's not immediately, it's based around once they're up and operating, which is going to be through this decade. But that's a very good outcome because that hasn't been there before. We're very pleased that you've now got ESG funds investing directly into nuclear. Alligator has its first full ESG fund invested into us. They, like many new organisations around the world, are having a totally different look at nuclear and how it can embed itself with renewables, and they like that ability to mix with and load follow with renewable energy. And in terms of the market for uranium in particular, there is an increasing interest coming out of nuclear utilities now for long-term contracts. Again, we haven't seen that for so long because there's been an excess of supply in the market. Now there is getting to be a balance or shortage of supply. So it's changing, and I like the fact that within the uranium and nuclear business, that definitely is changing. Mixed into that within Australia, we are being willing to have a look at innovative technologies, and I really would like the modern nuclear to become part of that. Yeah, there's been a few due to my mature nature. I very much enjoyed being part of the team that built the Olympic Dam from scratch, right through the 80s. It was an unbelievable experience, fantastic team, fantastic ore body, as everyone now starts to know, and that was a real highlight. I loved when I made a significant change and started working with a lot of Indigenous people in Kakadu and Arnhem Land during my ranger days with North and then with ERA and Rio. That was a real eye-opener. Living and working around so many Indigenous people and having so many Indigenous employees and their issues and how they need to work through their life in such a mixed way was a very eye-opener for me. So I loved that work. And I think the final one for me would be when I was with Toro, getting a fully approved uranium mine established in the last phase of the uranium business in Western Australia. That was a great outcome. Well, I think there's a few interesting steps coming. I'm glad we're jumping into the hydrogen space because the hydrogen space needs a source of energy to help create it. And that source can be multiple different ways. It can be excess renewables, it could be nuclear, it can be gas, it can be another source. But it creates a cleaner mobile fuel, which we haven't had. I like the fact that now there is an increasing interest from a younger generation in modern nuclear. The old Neanderthals like me are starting to get out of the way, and we need to have a younger generation looking honestly at what modern nuclear is. And I think there's a lot of people around the country starting to do that, which I think that's what excites me going forward.